Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how you can take a very simple chord progression and with a few steps you can turn it into a beautiful flowing piece. And so the progression I'm going to show you today, it's called a major scale chord progression, and I've talked about this in my other videos and I go through it in detail at Worship Piano Academy, but basically here's the gist of it. You take the major scale, so I'm going to show you in the key of C, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You apply numbers to it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then you apply chords to it. So 1, 4, and 5 are your major chords. So that would be C, F, and G. Your minor chords are 2 and 6. So that would be D minor and A minor. And then 3 and 7, those are slash chords. So your 3, that would be a 1, which is a C chord, over that 3 bass, which is E. And then your 7 is another slash chord. That would be a 5 over 7. So that would be your 5 chord, which is G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a G chord over your 7 bass. So here's a 5, which is a G. Here's a 5 over 7. So that is what I call the major scale chord progression. It's 1, 2 minor, 1 over 3, 4, 5, 6 minor, 5 over 7, and 1. Now the major scale chord progression that we're using is an inversion of those chords. And so how we're doing it, if we walk down, we're going to start with the 1, we'll play the C and the second inversion, and we're leaving out the middle note and all these chords. So here's your 1, your 5 over 7 is a G over B, your 6 minor is an A minor, your 5 is a G, and again with all these we're not playing our middle note, we're just playing the top and bottom. Our 4th chord is an F, 1 over 3, which is a C over E, a 2 minor is a D minor, and then your last 1 chord. So that is that major scale chord progression that we use to play this beautiful flowing piece. Now with your left hand, what you're going to do is you're going to play octaves. And then the next step is to play the 5th note of your left hand. And you can find that by playing the chord with it. So if you play the C chord, the 5th note is a G. And so when you play that bass, you play that chord. So that works with all of the chords except for your slash chord. So here's your 1, here's your 6 minor. And you can find that by playing the 5th note, which is an E, your 5 chord, the 5th note, 4 chord, your 5th note, and then your D minor or your 2 minor, your 5th note was an A. So you're just adding the 5th note of the chord to your left hand. Your slash chords is when it gets a little bit tricky because you're playing a 1 over 3. So what you're, instead of playing the 5th in your left hand, you're playing the note that of the chord you're playing in your right hand. So you're playing a C or a 1, and so you play the 1 in your left hand. Same thing with your 5 over 7. Here's your 7 bass, and then you play the 5, which is a G, in your right hand, or in your left hand. And so if you play that with your left hand down the scale, it'll look like this. So you have your 1, your 5 over 7, your 6 minor, your 5, your 4, 1 over 3, 2 minor, and your 1. And so if you add your right hand with it, and then the next thing you're going to do with your left hand, instead of playing block chords, you're going to walk it up. And you're going to add 2 more notes. You just keep walking up the major scale of the key that you're in. And you go down to the 5 over 7, to the 6 minor, to the 5, the 4, 1 over 3, the 2 minor, and then the 1. So in the key of C, all of the notes are white, but it works the same if you do it in a different key. If you do it in the key of A, you have 3 sharps. You have 1, 2, 3, there's a sharp, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are sharps, and you're back to your 1. So you have 3 sharps. So if you do that same progression in the key of A, So if we go back to C, we're going to include our right hand in that progression. The next thing we're going to do is add back in the middle note of the chord. So instead of hitting 2-note chords, we'll still do that, but when we walk back up, we'll continue to walk with our right hand and play the full chord instead of just the 2-note chord. So it'll look like this. To the next chord, and you'll play a 2-note chord. And then you'll do a 3-note chord as you walk up. 2-note chord, 3-note chord. Like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold back our chord changes in our right hand just for a second. So if we do that progression, and then we'll hit a 1/7, and then we'll do the 5 chord as we get to the top of that run, like that. And then you change chords to the 6 minor, and then a 6 minor over 5, and then change chords when you get to that top note. So now you're hitting a 5 to a 4, to 1/3, and you're going to hit a 1/2, and then change chords to the 2 minor, and then we'll go to the 5 sus4. So here would be your 5 chord. You're going to hit a 5 sus4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you continue walking up with your left hand, and then that B, or that 3-note, resolves that G chord. You're resolving it with your left hand, and you can continue up. There's your 5/7 to your 6 minor. 6 minor over 5. Now you go to the 5, to 4, to 1/3, 1/2. Now you go to the minor, to the 5 sus4, resolve it, like that. So it's just a simple chord progression. It's a 1, 5/7, 6 minor, 5, 4, 1/3, 2 minor, and 1. But just adding those little changes into it, walking up with your left hand, instead of ending on the 1, we'll go to that 5 sus4 before we go back to that 1. And then you continue the run with your right hand. And that's when you hold back the chord to 6 minor. Now we go to the 5, to 4, 1/3, 1/2, 2 minor, 5 sus4. You can add some extra notes in there. And it works in every key too. You just use the same kind of thought process as you go through it. So if you want to do it in the key of G, you find your major scale, apply numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 4, and 5 are major. 1, 4, 5. Your 2 and your 6 are minor, so that'd be A minor and an E minor. And then your 3 and your 7 are slash chords. So it's 1 over 3 and 5 over 7. And then you find that same progression. And you walk up with your left hand. Add your right hand. Like that. If you want to do it in the key of E, you do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 4, and 5 are major. Your 2 and your 6 are minor. And then your 3 and your 7 are slash chords. So you find that same progression. Add your right hand. Like that. So I hope that gives you an idea of how you can take a very simple chord progression, and with a few simple steps, you can turn it into a beautiful flowing progression. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next video.